Hello, my name is Matthias, and I'm going to show you my fourth hand-in for programming. And what I used for this hand-in, I used Open Frameworks image loader example, and it got all the Open Frameworks set up, like these functions set up, update, and draw, and much more down here for key events. And then I'm just going to show you my variables first. Here I got a picture called of image, which and I have two textures just to show the whole picture as this, and then the scaling version of it. And then I have an integer for the total pixels. And then I have some unsigned char pointer data because I'm going to make point processing out of these in order to show my picture. And and then I got like the data I'm gonna show, and I got album if I have more pictures I need to show. I only have one, so it's actually not. I just took it from the last exercise we did. And then I have the current picture if we need to have a current picture of the album. And then I have the integer which shows the real picture width and real picture height, because I need to have the real pixels of the picture in order to show it, otherwise my Windows crashes. So that's why I have this one. I'm going to show you later. And here I got some integers for the different variables I'm going to use, I'm going to make. And this is just for background, the colors for the background, and this is for a square which also got some colors in it, and this is for my triangle, the points of the triangle which I'm going to show you, and this is for my line I'm going to make. And down here we're going to have the strings which we're going to use for as we only like for reading some strings inside my text inside my file. And just to say, this exercise is about grabbing some information from a file and then use it inside C++. And then we have some height and width for the picture, and we got some height and width for a rectangle, I think, and we got some some position and some radius for a circle. And down here we have red, green, and blue for a offset color function. But let's take a look at the more interesting code. And as you can see, I included something called fstream, which is we use in order to get something from a file or put in something into a file, input and output from the file. We only use the input from the file inside our C++ in this example, and we only use the draw function actually. And as we see, we use fstream, make a variable for fstream which we call file input, and this is supposed to take my text, which is this file over here, and then read from it. And this text is inside my bin folder for my project. We could also write like a longer path, but I didn't do so because this was easier. And then I make a do loop, which a do loop does that it runs it through one time no matter what, and then we have a while loop stopping it if it needs to be stopped, otherwise it will go again as long as the while loop is true. And actually the while loop states that if the file input is not end of file, meaning that it hasn't read through it all, then this should run. But actually it's going to run all the time since we use the draw function. But we still need it in order to get our program to work. And then we have file input. We say file input is gonna, let's say it's gonna look for something called, I call an integer called the keyword. So it's actually gonna look for a keyword. Let's say it's background, and then when it's background, and as you can see, if the keyword is equal to background, then file input, the next word we will get will then be back red, meaning it will be assigned to 55. and then the next is going to be green, back green, and it's going to be assigned 255, and this last one is back blue, it's going to be assigned 0. So it's going to be and these two colors combined are going to be yellow. And then in order to print it out on the screen, we just write off background a OpenFrameworks fill-in function with the 3 color variables. Yeah, and that's the basic concept of loading from a file and putting it inside of C++. And then down here we have the more exciting picture which we're going to implement, and it's first off we set the offset color to 255, and we do that in order to not get the colors from, I guess it's actually from down here, we get the colors from the circle, because this just loops itself, so it sets the color to red, I guess, because we set it to red. But then we just set it to 255, and then it's going to work and it's going to look properly. And then if keyword is equal to image, then, and as you see here, we got image over here, and then this is my name of my picture, and what it is, JPG, and then position y, x and y, and the size of it, width and height. And as you see over here, we got, and then we need the real picture width. This is the actual picture width for my picture, which we use in order to actually load in the picture for use point processing, since we need to do that, otherwise it wouldn't work. Maybe I just did something wrong. I'm gonna take a look at that later. And then again we set the color, offset color. Maybe that's not needed, but we just do it so we're sure. And we take the file input, we take the image name, as we just showed, and then we have my image, load image. We're gonna load this image inside the image folder and plus it with the image name, which is my image1.jpg. And then we're gonna say that the album is assigned to my image get pixel, and we will have if album was an array, we could make more of these. We could just do like this. This is the first part of the array, and then move on like we did in the transition. But since we only have one picture, we can just do it like this. And then we have this texture which we allocate to the real pick width, the real pick height, and then RGB colors, red, green, and blue. And also we do the same for the texture of scaling. So we have both the real picture and the scale picture. Afterwards we take the total pixels of our total pixels is of course the real picture width, the height, and then times by 3 because we have 3 colors. And then we have assigned data to be a new unsigned char, a dynamic pointer, with the total pixels being its amount of new assigned char. So what we do is we say make a for loop for how many pixels we got, and then saying the data, the dynamic pointer should be assigned to the pixels of the album, which is this is the picture, and then we're gonna assign all the pixels in the picture to data. I hope you get what I mean. And then and then we have data. Actually, we could also just write album, but if we're gonna make some cool transitions later on in the semester or something, this is the way to start from. And then we load the data into texture, the data, and then we set the real picture height and RGB colors, and then we draw the picture, and this is just drawing it as it really is. And then we do this actual texture scaling from we do the same. We load the data from the picture, not the data, we take the data of the picture and load it into the texture scale, which is the right height, and then we scale it down here by saying the texture scale, drawing it, and then position x, y, and the size, width, and height, which we got over here, which we assigned. If you remember, in the file input up here. So whatever we write in here is going to be printed out as with these variables, and that's pretty much it for my image. And then we got like more examples of it. We got a square, oh not, yeah, we got a square, and I also made like square color. We already do that later on down here with colors. And the square is simply just the same principle. It's going to take square x, square y, and a side, just one side of course, because the sides are equally long. And then set the color, offset color of the square, and then of rect, which is also a built-in function in Open Frameworks. Just print it out, and that's basically what we do down here as well. We're gonna take the color and assign it to red, green, and blue variables from the file, and we got a rectangle, which is the color of what we just set color to. Red, green, and blue is also the color of this rectangle. I guess it's also a color of my line. More stuff. I didn't separate them that well. I didn't want it to like do so. And then, oh, sorry, it's actually, I put it to red, green, blue. Doesn't matter, I put it as I wanted. Triangle, a line, and then we use something called fill. And what I did is just, if we write fill inside my text, there's going to be fill in the figures, geometry figures, and if we write no fill, there's going to be no fill. There's also some building functions. And then they're just going to be the outline of the figures. And then last off, we have a circle, and we actually have more circles. We got variables here for the circles and a color for the next one. The colors, no, not for the next one, just for a circle. And then we make one circle, and we make two circles just the size of it, right next to it, and then we have make another one in another color. I don't know why. I made three. I was trying to fool around with it. So, but this is how it is. And then we have a while loop, which should stop or should run the do loop as long as the file input is not the end of the line. As long as it hasn't read all of this text, all of this information, it should run. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And let's take a look at how it works. Wow, okay, it's a bit slow, but and as we can see over here, we got all our information. We can actually try to rearrange it, make something new. Yeah, and as you see, this is the picture and the scaling picture. And if I do, let's say I change, okay, now you can't really see. I change, for example, I change my picture. I have another picture called image 2. Ah, it's gonna be a new picture. Cool. And we can change the color. Oh crap, that's my phone. Just a second. Yeah, sorry for that. And then we can also change the rectangle position, like say 900 instead. Oh, those are circles. Yeah, I hope you get the idea, and you can just do this with all of them. And the no fill, let's say instead of fill we say no fill. There's going to be no fill inside there. So that's pretty much it. And the triangle, just like they're just points of the first end of the triangle, and the next one, and the third one. So it's just the space, the connection of them. You just try to change it so you know what I mean. Like there, now it's gonna go X with this point, it's gonna go X with this way. And that's pretty much it. So we can just fool around with it a little bit more. Let's say this one a little bit beautiful, more beautiful. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stop for now. So thanks for watching. I hope it's okay, and I hope you like it. Have a nice day.